Imagine waking up and realizing that the volume of the world has been turned down to zero. Not the sound, but the feeling. You look at your partner and you know you love them, but you can't feel the warmth. You look at a sunset and you know it's beautiful, but the wow never arrives. You're not sad. You're not angry. You're just not there. Most people think the worst thing a human can feel is pain. They're wrong. The most unsettling thing a human can experience is feeling absolutely nothing at all. This is a psychology of the hollow self. And when this numbness becomes permanent, it doesn't just change your mood. It deletes your identity.
We usually think of emotions as temporary. A wave of joy, a flash of rage, a season of grief. But what happens when the emotional tap is turned off and the handle breaks? In psychology, emotional numbness is often a defense mechanism, a way for the brain to shield itself from trauma it can't process. But when that shield stays up for too long, it stops being a protector. It becomes a prison. We are entering a territory where the psychology of the brain meets the void of the soul. We are talking about what happens when emotional numbness becomes the permanent foundation of your existence. This is the architecture of the hollow self. When numbness shifts from a temporary state to a permanent reality, it begins to rewrite the very software of your brain. Think of your identity like a building. Usually that building is constructed with the bricks of your experiences and the mortar of your emotions. You know who you are because you know what you care about. But when numbness takes over, the mortar disappears. The erosion of reality. Your perception of reality is actually tethered to your ability to feel. Without emotion, the world loses its texture. Objects become just shapes. People become just obstacles or data points. When numbness becomes permanent, reality itself starts to feel unsettling and thin. You aren't living in the world anymore. You're observing it through a thick layer of bulletproof glass. You can see everything, but you can touch nothing.
The loss of identity. This leads to the most terrifying part of this psychological state, the loss of self. Who are you if you don't have preferences? Who are you if nothing makes you laugh and nothing makes you cry? Yourself is essentially a collection of emotional reactions to the world. When those reactions vanish, the self becomes hollow. You become a ghost haunting your own life. You are a set of habits and memories, but the pilot is gone. The key insight here is that the hollow self is not an empty space. It is a structure built on the absence of feeling. In this state, the brain undergoes a profound existential shift. It's not just that you're bored or depressed, it's that the brain has fundamentally lost the ability to assign value to anything. If nothing feels good and nothing feels bad, then everything is exactly the same. Choice becomes impossible. Purpose becomes a foreign language. The architecture of the state is incredibly stable. It's very hard to break out of because there is no emotional hook to pull you back into the light. This permanent numbness becomes a new, unsettling kind of normal. Why should we care about the architecture of the hollow self? Because we are living in an era that encourages us to go numb. Between the constant digital overstimulation and the crushing weight of global stress, many people find themselves checking out. But the sources warn us that the long-term effects of this are devastating. When you lose your ability to feel, you lose your ability to connect. When you lose your connection, you lose your identity. And when you lose your identity, the existential impact is total. You aren't just losing a part of your life, you are losing the very thing that makes life worth living. It is a deep psychological decay that happens in total silence. The human brain is a marvel of connection and feeling, but it is also fragile. The hollow self is a reminder that our emotions aren't just extra features of being human, they are the core of our reality. If you feel like the glass is getting thicker, if you feel like you're becoming a spectator in your own body, pay attention, because once the architecture of the hollow self is complete, it is a very long way back to the surface. Don't just exist. Don't let the numbness become permanent, because a life without feeling isn't a life. It's just a void with a heartbeat.